You know, the other day I was on with Ron and I recalled that I probably should switch that to the one for my videos, that stinger, but I kind of like the fact that it's different because it shows that that's a live stream as opposed to one of my prepared videos. But anyway, what do I know? Hi, I'm Wes Allen with DM Tales. Going to be doing, excuse me, I'm going to have to get a cough drop. I'm going to be doing a Cypher character creation demo. And let me get one of these because got a cold and the evening cough is just not going away. Thanks to wildfire smoke. Canada, I hope you're doing much better. And I want to go through that process. I've done one already on the channel, but now we have the form fillable PDF for the character sheet, so makes it a little bit easier. I want to go through the process all over again. So hopefully that should be kind of fun. I want to share this out with folks. And if any one of my regular participants wants to pop in and say hi, you know the link, or you can get the link, and that would be fine. Before we get over to Cypher, I do want to give a little bit of an Ocean incident update. I have been meaning to write one that Dave can put on our, I guess we did backer kit. I've got probably about 75% of Ocean incident converted for Cypher at this point. The other day I just went through and I went through all of my, I think I have a dead pixel on my monitor, darn it. Total random moment there. But anyway, I went through and redid all the monster stat blocks. So that's kind of where I went with that. Have a couple of things that I need to worry about with one of the creatures that shows up later in the adventure that we might need to add one for there. That's fine. But most of the narrative text is done for the first two levels, and then the third one I'm going to get to very shortly. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Then I got to finish reading Dark Space so I can actually convert that one over. And I need to make the characters for Ocean Incident Cypher, which should be fun, which is one of the reasons why I am doing all this work with Cypher, because I want to get used to converting it and writing for it. Anyway, let's get over to the Cypher character creation. So first off, I want you to take a look at the cool sheet because I do like the way that they updated the sheet. I need to bring my mouse back over to the right screen. Let's do that. There we go. Oh, look, people are actually commenting already. Hey, Eric. Hey, Glenn. I'm puppy sitting and the fiance will be here soon, so can't pop on, but a big update is get something in. Clever, cool, crazy. Cool. Ocean Incident is coming along. And Eric, how you doing, sir? So leave your chats. I'll get the comments up here. I was too busy talking. I wasn't even looking at my comments. So thanks for watching. I do like the way that they updated the sheet. One of the things about the Numenera sheets in particular, I thought the Cypher sheets were a little bit better. The Numenera sheets were beautiful. They're pieces of art. But they were a little bit difficult to decipher because they were very, very busy. Chuck is it. Nice. Is there a new Cypher system? Yes, it is just called Cypher, and it is available for pre-order now. And you can look at that link that's scrolling below, or you can go into the description for this video because I have it there as well if you just want it to be clickable. And it is updated. We're going to go through the different process and see what's going on. We're deciphering the Cypher. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah. Actually, the funny thing is that the current adventure that my Tales of Argosa campaign is on is that they're actually searching for an actual Cypher, not a Cypher. It makes sense if you're in context. Anyway, let's talk about the different of the character creation process. It's mostly the same. It has been streamlined a little bit. It is a little more direct. And I'm going to show you the flow chart that they use to create it. One of the cool innovations is that you now start with what's called a core character. You have eight in all of your pools, and you still have might, speed, and intellect. And then you have 2 skills, but you are able to take a 3rd skill if you take an inability in another skill. And the skills, there's a definitive skill list now, but there's also skills that are specifically advised for different styles of play, for like the different genres. So that's kind of what's going on with that. And I'll show that off in a little bit. And yeah, it's pretty fun. I actually quite enjoy it. I didn't ever dislike the creation of characters for old Cypher system or for Numenera. In particular, once they created the character creation app on their website, it just became a breeze. But it was a lot to weed through, especially if you were using paper and flipping through the books. There was, I mean, the chapters were huge, and the type write-ups were all huge, and you had to flip through so many different pages. And it wasn't hard, but by the time you get to the end of it, I've always described it as kind of exhausting. I do not find this process exhausting anymore. The core characters part of that, the simplification of both types and descriptors are part of that as well. So we're going to take a look at this a little bit. And let's bring over to the character sheet. So let me get over here. And I'm going to show you the process. We're going to switch. So you can see that it's start. You start at start. What a concept, right? But here's your core characters. You have 8 points in each pool, 6 points to add to the pool, so I forgot to mention that. 2 skills and then optional third skill and inability. I love inabilities. And in fact, I have two or three characters that I made for my upcoming Chaos adventures for some events. And I have not been making them work with the inabilities much because inabilities and one-shots kind of stink. But I'm going to start forcing that issue a little bit because I want them to trip and have to role play that because I think that's fun for everybody, not just for the GM. So 8 points in each pool, 6 points to add to the pools, and choose 2 skills and a third option or third skill and inability. So that's what we're going to do here. And we'll look at the skills in a little bit, but I am going to start with the pools. So 8 is the start for each, and I'm looking, I started clicking on the PDF on my screen that I'm monitoring all this on. I don't want to do that. Go back to layers, please. There we go. So there's 8 in all the pools, and now I have 6 to add in all the other pools. Hey, Neil, how you doing, sir? Good to have you in. We're just having some fun making characters. I'm explaining the process, probably going over a little bit what I just did in my review for the Cypher character rulebook. I kind of have a concept of what I want to create for this character, but I want to see if I actually can do it. So let's look back over at the rulebook. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the core character. Nope. Wounds, that says, where's the type? How to play Cypher. Your 3 stats. What's next? Where's the stats? That's interesting. That is not correct. Did I open up the wrong one? I might have opened up the wrong Cypher rulebook. Oh, well, we're going to go to the table of contents. We'll do it here. We're going to do fantasy. That should have all of my table of contents in there. And I have 2 versions of the rulebook on, and one of them, the table of contents, wasn't completely done in the PDF yet. I will tell you that it is completely done in the finalized PDF, which is why I'm a little confused here. See you, Glenn. Talk to you later, man. So here's some suggested foci. Foci is a legitimate pronunciation in American English. Don't come at me with foci. These are dungeon fantasy types. So I want to go to a specific kind of fantasy. So I don't want to just do dungeon fantasy. That's what I've been making all my pre-gens for. This is more like 5e fantasy. Just point that out for you. I want to go to more swords and sorcery. So you can see all the ones for that. Although I'm thinking about doing a monk, but I want to see if I get one for here. Swords and sorcery. So I got archer, axe fighter, barbarian, knife fighter, priest, sorcerer, sword fighter, thief, 2 weapon fighter, and witch. Maybe I will go back to dungeon fantasy because I really want to kind of do a monk. I think that would be fun. Let's do generic fantasy. Kind of like generic fantasy. I kind of want to do the monk, but a knife fighter might be interesting too. Let's take a look at a knife fighter. Let's see. I'm going to highlight that for you to see. 4 to speed. So speed is what really is leaning in for the knife fighter. 1 edge to the pool of your choice. Freely use all knives. Freely use light armor. Gain weapon your choice. Okay. You know what? Let's do that. So that's going to inform what I do for my 6 points. So one of the cool things about, I don't want to do 2 weapon fighter. I want to do somebody that's more fast, but maybe I'll look at the 2 weapon fighter in a second. But your your pulls for your abilities or your attributes are no longer your health points. You can see wounds are down here. We're going to talk about that in a little bit because you can take 3 minor wounds, 3 moderate wounds, and 3 major wounds as a core character, and then you're gonna add some depending on your type. So what I'm going to do is I do want to have some might to throw in for some maybe damage or for resistance. So I'm going to put two of my 6 points to spend there. I'm going to put 3 there, and you know what? He's just not that bright. So he's got 9 intellect. That's fine. I shouldn't say bright. It's not necessarily just intellect. It's all like willpower. Like, that's the thing. If I don't sleep through it, I'm going to the Witch City this weekend for SagaCon. Have fun, man. All right, Knife Fighter. Let's keep with the Knife Fighter. 4 to speed pull and 1 edge in your choice. So that's one thing. I do have to give my skills. I haven't skipped. I know I have to do that, but I'm just kind of doing this for it. So 4 more points. And we'll give the 1 edge and speed. For those who do not know Cypher, speed is essentially a point reduction that you can spend 1 time for each of your tasks that you are spending pull points on. So now I want to look at these skills. So we're going to bookmark this so we don't have to keep flipping through. Knife Fighter abilities. There we go. And let's go back and we'll look at the skills. Suggested foci. I know there's suggested skills for fantasy somewhere. There they are. Fantasy skills. I'm going to bookmark this. Again, I have another one that has all this done already in the table of contents, so it's okay. 7 million GM is going to be there. Oh, have fun, man. Tell him I said hi. So we got a Knife Fighter is the type I'm going for. So I want somebody, even before I'm getting to Knife Fighter as a type, I want somebody who's quick. So I want some stuff in here that's going to kind of think that he's a quick. And you can see that there are asterisks. So you cannot choose those until you get to a certain tier. So you can't be like super attacker at first tier. That's the idea. Or defending. So what are we going to do here? I think we're going to give him recognizing motive. And the reason why I say recognizing motive is because I think he's the type of guy who, when it gets backed into a corner, he's going to be trying to see who's trying to knife him first. So that's the kind of idea for that. Maybe deception. I like charming for a Knife Fighter. I think that's always fun. He's kind of a, charming rogue. I don't know why I even copied that. That was kind of silly. And now this will take me longer when I'm trying to explain it. This does not take me long at all when I'm doing this. This is a really fast process, at least for me. And I've only made like 8 characters with this type of the system yet, or version of the system yet. And I think for a Knife Fighter, quick on his feet type guy, we're going to give him training and initiative. That's his 3rd skill, which means we have to take an inability. And I want to do it something that's going to come up a whole lot. So it's not like you could do it like a dump stat, rather like religious lore. And if you're not focusing on religious stuff in the campaign, then that's never going to come up. So what is he bad at that would happen all the time? And you know what? I think he's very speedy and he's very dexterous. But for whatever reason, whenever he tries to stealth, he's just clumsy as all get out. Because that's going to come up a whole lot. Everybody's always trying to stealth. I do like, they have all the tabs for the fillable sheet where you can just tab through and it goes to the right spot. It's not like doing all these random jumps. I do it a lot of times because people, when they create the forms, they don't put them in order or organize them. And this is organized perfectly, which makes me very happy. You didn't know Bruce Cordell's involved? Oh yeah, Bruce is big on that. He's I actually have an interview with me, Shauna Germain, and Sean K. Reynolds from GameholeCon last year. So go watch that. So there are the 3 things that I'm giving him for that. And now let's go back to the Knife Fighter abilities. I did that. Freely use all knives. This is going to be kind of weird because I'm going to show you why that's a little weird. Down here you have weapon use, and it just says freely use all knives, but there's no thing for that. A little bit of a hiccup. So what I'll do is I'll put light weapons and then freely use all. So he can't freely use all light weapons. He can freely use all knives. Maybe I'll capitalize that. There we go. That's kind of cool. And it said light armor, right? So we'll do that. So I like that little, really nice for that. Ooh, look at that, I'm doing that. Freely use all knives, freely use light armor, gain weapon of your choice, or choose the equipment bundle weapons. We'll take a look at those. Tier 3 and 6, choose an ability from the fantasy genre abilities list. So this kind of takes place of some of the abilities that you would gain from your type in Cypher system or Numenera. Now, when you tier up, your new abilities come, except for those two exceptions, from your foci. And the genre abilities are really kind of cool because the way that I will encourage players to use them is that depending on what happens to their characters in tier 1 and 2, when they get to tier 3, something's going to trigger them pursuing a specific type of skill, and that's going to be the one that they pursue. And I think in my video I said, like, you know, the barbarian couldn't defeat the dark wizard, so he, you know, went out and sought out just a little bit of magic to give him that extra power. Like, that's the type of thing for a genre ability that I'm thinking about. That does not have any impact right now because we're tier 1. And then you gain the following abilities: expert combatant, gut ripper, and hindering throw. So let's put these in here. I can't do it all at once because nope. PDFs. There's no actual layout to them. It's just it's a cool format and a dumb format all at the same time. So expert combatant, I'm going to cut that and paste it back as, let's see, sorry. Cut that, and I'm going to paste it back as title case. I forgot what my shortcut is for that. Or uppercase, I should say. Why didn't you paste it back? Dang nabbit. Come on. Dang nabbit, it didn't want to do it. It does it when I'm not on camera. I'll just do that. And usually on my sheets, I like to put them on one level. That one there is the bullet point. Gut Ripper 1 speed. I will say that a lot of the first tier abilities cost a lot less. And a deep slice. Foe takes +2 damage. So you get a knife, which is a light weapon, and your attack, which means you get an asset to your attack, or it's not. It's just you eased one step, and you're doing medium damage weapon, which is or medium weapon damage, which that's kind of cool. That's kind of fun. Oh, that's part of the Gut Ripper, 2 speeds. Okay. I'll leave that as lowercase. Or let them bleed. The wound bleeds. On your next turn, the foe takes 2 damage, and that ignores armor. Now, here's the thing. Gut Ripper cost 1 speed, right? And, oh, it does have a down range. Your DM intrusion range for the attack increases by 2, from 1 to 3. Ooh, that's kind of fun. But deep slice +2 damage. But I have 1 edge and speed, so effectively, if I'm not using effort, I do that for free. I can spam that ability. That's really fun for me. I kind of like that. Let's take a look at the rest of the thing. The other thing that we have is hindering action. I also have to put action on that. Hindering throw. Let's finish this one. Paste hindering throw in. These successful range knife attacks, you're going to have a lot of knives. attacks in the target, catching in their clothing, their flesh, the floor, or another adjacent surface in a way that deals normal damage and, why did that block cancel off, and hinders their tasks on the next turn. So everybody always wants to pin the guy's foot to the floor in D&D, and here you go. You've got that ability. Not two eyes. That's also an action. All right, cool. So you start with those 3 abilities as part of your type. Now, interestingly, I do not, I did take, here's the one thing I did not do yet. So here's what I have to do. I have to add my wounds now. So you're able to take 3 more minor wounds and 1 more moderate wound. So I'll show you how that happens. So you can see you have the 3 boxes already, the borders colored in, and these ones are actually dotted. So what I end up doing is I just do an annotate and a box. Where's my box? Is that it? Content selection? No, that's not it. Fill in signs. Something changed. Edit, image, redact, fill in sign. This is kind of interesting. I'm going to do that. Oh, it's just draw that. Okay, there we go. I had the right one. So 3 more moderate wounds. Bing. I already had the border set up to where. Why are you doing that? Go. Nope. A little bit of a pain. I'm going to say 1 more moderate wound. So now I got my wounds, so then I can see where I get the rest of my wounds, right? Cool. We'll take annotate off. Go back to full size. Let's go back to the character book. Freely use all knives, freely use light armor, gain 1 weapon of your choice. We can do the equipment bundle right now. Choose the following equipment bundles to quickly outfit your character. 5 daggers. I did say that we had a lot of daggers. Let me just paste that in so we can look at it in bigger text. Well, slightly bigger text anyway. 5 daggers, appropriate clothing, a backpack, a bedroll, 50 feet of rope, a knife belt, 3 torches, rations and water for 3 days, a tinderbox, and enough currency to buy 1 moderately priced item. Doesn't really care about the gold pieces in this one. You can set the currency to wherever you want. Oh man, I am not going to be at Gen Con. I have neither time nor money. Very bummed. Also will not be able to get the Gamehole Con this year for the same exact reason. But you have an awesome time at Gamehole Con, and please do some awesome coverage so I can catch up. But it was nice to be thought of. Thank you so much. So that means that we have our unarmed attack. Now, I don't know if this is official, but I always do a modifier of -1, which means it's eased by 1 step for an unarmed attack because it's a light weapon. It's your fist. Modifier -1, damage 2, and I think a knife thrown is close range. I will go back and look at that. If I had my right version of the PDF up right now that had all the table of contents done, I need to go back and find that. I would go look at it now, but I think it's close range. There we go, and it is a light weapon, so it is that -1 there is a good thing. That means your attack is eased by 1 step. There's no like armor class in Cypher system. There's the level of what you are trying to impact, and when it says -1s, it means the level lowers by one step. So instead of like a level 5, you're now attacking a level 4. The way that you get to the target number in Cypher is that you take the level, you multiply it by 3. So let's say a level 4, you need a 12 to hit, which is not that hard unless you're me, because I will never roll higher than a 12 when I need to. But then if you have a light weapon, it lowers it by 1 step. So then suddenly that's a level 3. That's a 9 to hit. You get a 55% chance to hit, which is good. Hey, Matthew, how are you? Thanks for stopping by and giving the well wishes. That means a lot. Very kind of you. Boo. Yeah, boo. Honestly, you know what? Like, I have to put the boo up. I don't know how well I do at Gen Con. Because I just did Disney, and that crowd got to me. And I think Gen Con might be worse. Now, granted, it's all my stuff and it's all my people, but it's still a big crowd. So I would have to go with a plan and with a group and just kind of filter out everything else. And maybe one day I'll get there. I would like to try it at some point. Although I got to tell you the truth, if I had a choice between doing one thing, I would go to Gamehole Con again in a second. Would be a lot of fun. All right, so let's go back to our character creation. Okay, everybody, hide your eyes. Well, I can probably do it from here. The core character, there we go. There we go. So now we've got our type, we've got our equipment. Now we need to do our descriptor. And descriptors are all simplified in Cypher. It's just giving you +1 to 1 pull, and then you gain 1 skill. Not bad at all, right? So we're going to go to descriptors, and of course, that's not here because I got the wrong PDF up, and it's too late to fix it. Oh, there's descriptors, good. All right, so here's all your descriptors. There are some, I don't think there's any that are actually suggested for different things, or different genres. So do I do on the nose and have him be a fast knife fighter? Do I just lean into that? Is that what I do? Or do I want to be a little bit weird? I mean, this is a demo. Maybe we should just be a little bit weird, right? Let's do a little bit weird. Graceful would be a little bit different. Now, you could be the person who flips over tables and hangs on chandeliers elegantly. Would be fun. I've already got him good at recognizing motives, so intuitive seems like it would be doubling up. You could make him mystical. Like maybe he's a... Has anybody seen or read the books Shadow and Bone, or is it Shadow and Bone? I've only seen the Netflix series, and I know that I should go read the books because I used to not watch series that I hadn't read the books for, and now I'm old and tired. But there's the one character who is a knife fighter who's like an assassin type, but is very spiritual. And she's really kind of compelling because you can see all this conflict going in her. Let's see what that's like. Mystical. Is there a spiritual one? Now let's go mystical. Why not? Maybe there's a reason why this person's a knife fighter. And of course, none of the things work. There we go. You think of yourself as mystical, attuned with the mysterious and paranormal. Your true talents lie with the supernatural. So 2 to your intellect pull, so maybe he gets a little intellect there. I did enjoy the series. I thought the series was really good, Chuck. Trained in magic lore or psychic lore or religious lore. I don't really want him to be just trained in that type of lore, but maybe. I don't know. I'm intrigued by this. Or intuitive, I don't have to do recognizing motive. I can be trained in psychology. Although that kind of feels like an overlap to me too. Well, no, let's do it mystical. Why not? Okay, let's go over here. So you see the type is knife fighter. And it's mystical. I actually typed that right. While I do this, you want a religious lore, what was it? Religious lore, you want to do it magic lore, psychic lore, or religious lore? Which one do you want me to choose? You guys go ahead and do that as I put in my +2 to my intellect pool. So now he's actually got more intellect than might, I want to say strength. So those are going to be your final pull numbers right now. So there's 10. He is quick, or she. I don't know who this is yet. They, I guess I could say. There we go. Tier is 1. Effort is 1. And tier for the recoveries also 1. Cypher limit is 2. Same as pretty much always. Kill. No armor. Armor in this game is used for blocking. It eases blocking tasks. which is actually pretty effective. Blocking actually reduces the type of wound you take. So if you're taking a minor wound, it's no wound. If you're taking a moderate wound, it goes down to minor wound. But being able to block is actually pretty cool because it eases all those rolls. For those who don't know, in Cypher, players roll all the dice. So you roll your defenses too. I find that to be much more engaging for the players than sitting around waiting to see what happens to them. But it also hinders their dodge. So if there's an attack that they need to get out of the way of, like the lightning bolt from the wizard, because if you're wearing metal, you don't want to stand in the way of that, then you're hindered. So that suddenly it becomes more difficult. So it's a good trade-off there. I will say that shields in this game are pretty overpowered. They don't heal, so it does get destroyed. If they take they can take one major wound and then they're wrecked. And wounds spill over. So if you take all your light wounds, then it becomes moderate wounds. If you take all your moderate wounds, then it becomes light wounds, or what is it? Major wounds. And so shields can take, I think, 2 and 2 for light and moderate. So it really is this huge damage sponge, unless you are throwing combat at people all the time. And a lot of my one-shots, I want to have clever stuff going on too, not just combat. So the shield lasts a while. I think in a long-term campaign, it wouldn't be that bad. So that's that. And yeah, I think we're going to do that. So Neil, was it Neil who said psychic lore? Sure. I can spell. Trained. All right. So all tasks with that are trained. So a little bit of a quirky knife fighter. Kind of fun. All right. Let's go back here. Core character. I wish I had the right thing up. And now we got to choose our focus. So we're going to go back to my bookmarks. Types in fantasy, dungeon fantasy, species options. Everybody in Sword and Sorcery, we're just making human. I will go over the species in a second because it's much more simplified than it used to be in old Cypher. And I think it's a little bit more simplified. But let me get to the Swords and Sorcery. Here are the suggested foci, or foci, if you really want to be pedantic about it. I do know it comes from a Greek root. What did they do? I will say this. If you want to play the Big Lebowski, and I've made a couple of characters that use this foci, doesn't do much, is absolutely hysterical. Like that. So far, reading through Cypher, I've read the book a couple of times. I've made several characters. That is by far my favorite foci. Like my favorite focus, because it's like, man, you're like, I just want to have my White Russian, man. Because the dude abides, but like, because of like past experience, you're just like, oh yeah, I remember that, and suddenly you can do something. It is really cool. Infiltrates, leads, masters weaponry, moves like the wind. Maybe I don't want to just build the super optimized character. I want to build a character that's got some depth to it. And one of the things about optimized characters is that they're always just one-trick ponies, and like, I will do this now, which is why I ended up not liking playing a paladin in 5e, because it's like, I am a smite bot. That was not enjoyable. The character was enjoyable, but the paladin part was not. Anyway, feats of strength, maybe tends to the wounded, sneaks through the shadows, two on the nose. Explore fights dirty. That could be kind of fun. I'll show you how focuses work, or foci, or whatever it is, how the focus works in a second. Fights unarmed, they're a knife fighter. Fights with panache, could be fun. Howls with the moon, they shapeshift. I never really wanted to do that one. I don't know why. It seems a little bit weird to me. Hunts I've tried. That's been kind of interesting. Can't infiltrate because I gave him an inability in stealth. Can they have magic knives? You can eventually get magic knives if you want magic knives. Sure, why not? Or you can just have a magic knife that is a Cypher that does something cool. Why not? A knife would be an artifact, and the GM book is not out yet, so I'm not sure how they're handling artifacts in Cypher. But an artifact is basically a magic item that has staying power. A Cypher is a one use, so like an old school D&D scroll or potion. And then an artifact that you have has a depletion die, and when you hit the depletion, it stops working. Why don't we do... I don't want to do... Doesn't do much again. Fights dirty, I think I've already tried. Let's try fights with panache. Did it go to the right spot? Yes, it did. Look at that. So tier 1. So here you can see is the flow chart. These are the 3 tier abilities that you get, or that you can choose from the beginning. I believe you can choose 2. So we're going to bookmark this. Let's go back to the table of contents, go to core character. 2 tier 1 focus abilities. I was correct. Look at that. Memory is working. So I can choose 2 of these at first tier, and then you can see that some of them are not connected. So if I choose Attacking Flourish and Taunting Defense in Tier 2, I can't choose Dashing Defense because it doesn't fit unless I go back and choose Roguish Smile. Then I can. So it gives you a little bit of a semi-branching path as you go through. And again, when you get down, you're basically picking which side that you want to be on. Kind of cool. Let's see what Attack Flourish is like. When you attack, you add stylish moves, entertaining quips, or certain something that entertains or impresses others. One creature you choose within short range who can see you gains an asset to their next task if taken within a round or 2. Enabler. I love that for this character, because they don't have to do it all themselves. They can be like, ho-ho, and they can dance around and give an opening for another character because they know they need other people. So this is not a lone wolf knife fighter. This is a team player knife fighter. I'm going to say from... What's Fights with Panache? So I love that idea. Oh. Is it Attack Flourish? Yes. There we go. For that enabler thing, I like to put those on their own lines just because sometimes people have problems finding, was that an action? Is that this? So I put it on its own line that way I can go through. If I could highlight it, I would. I think if I print it out, I'd be like, this is this. And I'll do that by hand. All right. So, and then the other one, a roguish smile. With a smile and perhaps a wink, you erase the last round from memory of a target level 3 or less within immediate distance. Make an intellect attack against them to succeed. All right, so here's how this works. The last round from the memory of the target. Why would you want to do that, and why would I want to pick it? Well, I've already picked Attack Flourish, which means I'm giving my fellow characters, or one of my fellow characters, a boost. That's kind of cool. Very cool. So why would I choose Roguish Smile and try to get the person to be like, and just forget what's going on? Well, if that person has the ability to sneak around someone and do some extra damage from behind, if I make them forget they're there, then they can do that again. Ah, that would be kind of fun. So this is becomes a support character. This is not a tank. Very capable. Can do really stuff. You get to roll dice because you have to make an intellect attack in order to succeed at that. But it's a support type character, making space for like the heavy hitters or the stealthy backstabbers to get in. That would be kind of cool. Last is Taunting Defense. When you defend against a melee attack, your mocking moves, entertaining... This is Spider-Man. I mean, come on. Entertaining equips at your foe's expense or certain something draws at your foe's anger. Your foe's attack is hindered, but if they hit, they deal an additional minor wound. Also fun. That cost intellect. Well, so does Roguish Smile. Oh, man. And I can... Effort, I can do it by 1, so it could be up to a level 4 creature. When you get higher tiers, you can do more levels of effort, so I could do up to like a another level creature, which would be kind of fun. What do you guys think? Do I want to do the roguish smile or taunting defense and risk taking more damage? I actually think that's kind of fun. Again, there's just so neat options. And that opens up fast kill. Well, they both open up fast kill, which would be cool. That is the interesting thing. If you take these corners, you actually can take both things. You want to take the more damage? Because I'm not giving more damage. I am taking more damage. You like that? I kind of like that, just for my part. Especially because he's not wearing armor. I'd be like, hey, look at me, I can dodge. Oops, that hurt. We're going to do that. I'll go here. And we'll put enabler on its own thing. I can highlight that later. So there are 2 tier abilities. I was thinking like a soul knife with the psychic blades. Yeah, eventually you can get that. You can get all that. He loves pain. I like that. So yes, you can get magic weapons. There's no reason why you can't. It's just that in Cypher, they would be boring if they just did extra damage or gave you, like abilities to hit, because we have ciphers for that. Like if I want to ease my attack, like there's just toss the guy a cipher and burn it, and then you'll get another one later. So if you have an artifact or a magic item, you really want it to stand out. It's got to do something more than just give you more damage or extra hit. So it's not just it's just another +1 sword. Like it's going to be like, for you, like soul knives, like it will also do intellect damage and like suck away part of their soul. Like that's the type of thing that a magic artifact would be cool at doing. They're pretty fun to design in Cypher because you can pretty much do anything you want. Very cool. But I think this character is done with the 2 focus abilities. So what we say? We said fights with panache, right? And I will show you. Oh, we have to pick ciphers, so we can do that in a second too. Let's go to table contents, core character. Where are you? I would go find my better PDF. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. So, yep, we got ciphers, GM chooses, finalize name, background, and so on. And then it is time to play ciphers. So basically, let's get ciphers and then we'll do a name. So let's go to ciphers and we'll see if that is correctly in here. And I'm going to ask you to do some stuff for folks who are out there. Go get your dice. You're going to roll dice. Ciphers, I mentioned them a little bit. So ciphers in Cypher System, which is where it gets its name, they come from Numenera, where they are little bits of repurposed tech from the previous 8 worlds that they think existed on Earth. So Numenera is set 1 billion years in the future. Yes, if you know anything about stellar life cycle, that doesn't make any sense, but that's part of the mystery. And so they're just this repurposed tech that you use for different tasks, and then it burns up. So really, really cool in that setting, in a science fantasy setting. It's a really cool way of give them characters cool abilities and do cool effects that, don't overpower the game. And because you're always handing them out, people aren't just hoarding them and waiting for a rainy day. Like in D&D, it's like, I don't want to use that magic item because I only get 1 shot and I'll never get something cool again. So in some styles of game, that type of physical cipher worked, like fantasy, because you have 1-shot magic items, potions, scrolls, that sort of thing. That worked great. In like modern games, how are you explaining the way these ciphers work? I mean, like superheroes, you can just get super tech and that's fine. You explain it. Sci-fi, jury-rigged equipment, fine. But like in a real world mystery game, like that didn't make any sense. So they came up with this concept of subtle ciphers, which are described as like momentary insights or momentary steps of resolve to push through something. That classic movie trope. It's like, no, I'm going to get to the end. Like, that's the way a subtle cipher works. In Cypher, there's no such thing as subtle ciphers anymore because they're just ciphers. That's now the default. A manifest cipher, that physical object, that is a little bit different. That's, you know, the stuff that's got to be an action to activate, that sort of thing. Ciphers, I don't think you need an action to activate. So we got random ciphers here, and we got to get 2 for our character. So what I want, I got 5 people watching. Someone roll a D100. Neil, run, go. Go roll a D100 as I sit here, and I'll just mumble to myself and drink a sip of water. And that Ricola is really helping with the cough. That makes me happy. And this does not take 46 minutes to do. Like, I'm chatting with you. It's really a simple, fast process. And like I said, with the PDF that I have the actual table of contents set up, I have the wrong file open. It's really easy to jump back and forth. And if you bookmark the thing that you're going to, that's even easier. Come on, Neil. You can do it, man. Go. D100, or I'm going to have to do it. Don't make me do it myself. Where's my phone? Oh, here it is. Oh, 91. Neil got it. Okay, sweet. All right, that's number 1. 91 is, where's my mouse? A speed replenisher on page 264. So let's just put that on the character sheet. Replen. Sure, there we go. PG 264. That's cool. We'll put in the description later. Very good. All right, Neil, give me one more, man. Another 91. Now you give me another 91. Another one. Come on, one more. Okay, I just called out Neil and he did it. Thanks, Neil. You are awesome. You really are. I'm waiting. There we go. What is with you in the 90s, man? Were you an overachiever in school? Take one for the team. Also, page 264. That's going to be easy to do. Alrighty then. That's going to be kind of fun. Alrighty then. Let's go back and we'll find out what these do. Let's see if this little bookmark works. 264. There we go. Speed replenisher. You restore 4 speed points to your speed pool. Now, they do have an explanation for it. I'm using my crystal green DCC dice. Nice job, man. Cool. They give you an in-game explanation for it because you want to talk about it. So you had a moment of really good stretch, movement for a really good stretch. You cracked your back and neck and made a really satisfying noise. The knot in your muscle finally relaxed. That's cool. You don't need them. You just like, I'm just doing this now because I'm going. But hey, we'll take it. So I'm going to put that in under speed replenisher. And because he's a speed-based character, that kind of works. That's kind of a nice thing. And I'll separate that out just so it's easier to read. All right, take one for the team. We'll go back over there. Where is that? Take one for the team. When you take the attack against the foe of level 4 or less, the attack afflicts no damage. Did I say attack? Attack inflicts no damage. You also don't take the extra mind or wound that you'd normally incur. The foe was too surprised by your move to... Oh, so you essentially do a rescue. Oh. Or you get hit and, like, you know, it hits the pot lid that you grabbed on the way by. Oh, that would be so much fun. Oh, I love that. I would have never thought of that in a million years. That's cool. Oh, that's so cool. Level 4 or less. Let's see what take the attack is, because there's a little thing there. It's on page 306. Let's see what that goes to. 306. Sorry, I'm biting my Ricola now. Take the attack. If an NPC's attack would hit another character, usually by the other character failing their defense task, you can throw yourself in front of the successful attack to save them. The attack automatically succeeds against you and inflicts an additional minor wound. So you would take whatever. If you're taking a moderate wound, you would also take a minor wound. That's a pretty heavy price to pay, but you can save somebody's life. Once you take an attack this way, you can't do so again until the start of your next turn. So it is essentially a rescue mechanic. I like it. Cooperative actions. You can help too. You can give them an asset on the task. If you're trained, specialized, or expert of the task, you can give them an additional asset. Ooh, that's kind of fun. Oh, well, that's kind of interesting. You can give them 2 if you're trained? That seems weird. If you're trained, I'd figured you'd get 1. If your complementary action succeeds, you give the other person an asset on their task. For example, your friend is trying to charm the ship captain to let the group, or you could try to supplement their words with a flattering lie about the captain. A deception action. So you're still taking an action really quick. Really, really cool. All right, so there we go. We've got ciphers. We've got all our abilities. We've got equipment. Very, very, I mean, I really didn't do much with the equipment. Sometimes I make that a pretty list. I'm not worried about it right now. I got 5 daggers, freely used as all knives. And we got, there's our pools and our ciphers. And there we go. So give me a name for this guy, guys. What would you like to name this character? Do not call it Blader Bladerson. Do not. Or Knifey Kniferson either, for that matter. Or Stabby Stab. Nothing with stabbing or knives. You've got to give me a decent fantasy knife fighter name. Now, this is swords and sorcery specifically, but there's nothing really totally underpowered or overpowered that you couldn't use this in Dungeon Fantasy. I could throw it. Damn it. I don't want to call him damn it. No. No. Or are you saying damn it because you couldn't do Knifey Kniferson? I knew it was coming, so I forebode it. All right, give me another name here. I'm just going to call him Bob. Bob Gutman. I got a friend named with the last name of Gutman. That actually would be violating my own instructions to all of you, but it would be kind of funny. So what do you got? Give me a name. You got it, Neil. We're down to 4 people watching. We got to get this done. I don't want to name him Bob. What do I want to name him? He's fast. He's mystical. He's a little bit arrogant because he's got that taunting and attack flourish going on with the fights with panache. This would be a fun character to roleplay, by the way, I think. Gut Ripper. Because he looks like he's, but then, and, suddenly your guts are on the ground. This is such a family-friendly extreme. Scraggle. Down on Scraggle Rock. Let's make his last name Scraggle. How about Finn Scraggle? So I only watched the first 4 seasons of Fraggle Rock. Scraggle Gut Ripper. I don't want to keep it. I don't want the gut. I was thinking Gutman, but no. I like Scraggle as the last name. I like Finn Scraggle, or Finna Scraggle if you want to, see if play it as a female character. Finn is kind of, you can make that generic if you want to. I kind of like it. There we go. We got a character. That didn't take long. I mean, I was talking with you all, but I like this process. Let me go back just to me. Bring the mouse onto the right screen. Screen, Wes. There we go. I like the process. It is streamlined. I know it took 40 plus minutes to do it, but like I said, we were talking, I was navigating because I opened up the wrong file. How many times can I say that? It's streamlined. Like, I can roll out a character and it's getting faster every time I do it. I can roll out a character pretty quick, like 10, 15 minutes, which is not as fast as like some systems that I do, but it's still pretty quick, even with the page flipping. So I kind of like that. Having the PDF is helpful because I can jump immediately to the pages that I want. Pretty cool. I love giving the inability. I think that's a lot of fun, something that I really want to lean on more with the characters who have inabilities. I'm going to start asking about that. Do you have any inabilities? And have them tell me. Really cool. Like the abilities of this character. I like the simplified descriptors because it's all the same. One of the critiques of old Cypher system is that some descriptors were like super powered, and then some of them were like, why would I want that? That's kind of boring. And then types are simplified. You don't get all your abilities from your types anymore. I think I said in my review of the character book, it makes sense that your new abilities come from your focus because that's the verb in the character sentence. Everything is I'm an adjective, noun, who verbs. Descriptor is the adjective, type is the noun, focus is the verb. So it makes sense that you get your abilities from your verb. So I like that they've moved most of that over there. I love the genre ability switch because I think that worked really well into a narrative growth of a campaign. Really cool. And then one of the things I didn't point out is even some of the focus flow charts are a little bit more complex than others. But basically, why did I have a scent thing in my Scraggle? Sorry. Basically, they give the same level of benefit. So you're not overpowering a character unless you really want to optimize and do like, I will do only things that give me speed, or I'm a wizard and I will only do things that give me intellect, which you can do, and you can build any type of character that you want. For me, I would just be like, I don't want to be that type of one-trick pony. I want a hindrance. I want to lean on other strengths other than my cool thing that I can go zap, zap, pow, pow with. And this is a type of character that would do that really well. And even though, like I said, it's swords and wizardry, I think this would work fine in a dungeon fantasy campaign. I would be kind of cool. Pop in. I like that he has to spend some extra money or extra speed points in order to take a foe down if it's armored. Because he's only using knives. They do 2 points of damage. And a lot of people have armor that have 1 or 2, and that's not going to do a whole lot of cutting unless you're putting effort in, or unless you're spending that speed point to do 2 extra points of damage. Or you can do both and do a speed effort to hit to do more damage and do that, and then you could have fun. That'd be kind of cool. I like it. Oh, let them bleed. The wound bleeds on your next turn. The foe takes 2 damage that ignores armor. So you can even stab him and it just keeps doing it. Or at least one turn. Kind of cool. So very fun. This is a neat process. Like I said, you can go on the news ticker. I'm going to go back over to that just to show you. Let me get my mouse on the right page. So if you want to go, you can pre-order the Cypher character rulebook at that link that is scrolling by on the back on the bottom of the screen. I don't know where that came from. Or you can look in the description for this video and it will be there. You can see new types, simplified descriptors. What did I say about focus? Branching foci, whatever the word is. Really cool. Now, that makes me happy. So that's what I got going on. I need to go work on my Numenera campaign stuff now. I don't know what time it is. I just wanted to do some live streaming because I thought that would be kind of fun. Coming up on the channel, I have the Dragonbane Book of Magic I do need to write the review for. I don't have it with me. It's over there. I want to do kind of a dive in how I'm using my books for my handwritten notes at this point, because I like the idea of going back digital. I just had Ron Meisker on from Page and Orange Cat Games Adventure Log, which is an analog, print book for adventure journaling, like put all your notes in, really well laid out. Actually, here, I'll get this. So, this was the cover by Chet Minton. This is a spread. Got all the stuff you need. So I think more and more people are moving towards this type of thing, even in this world of digital tools, because, well, we own this. And that's kind of cool. And I can stick it on a shelf and I can go back and look for it. With my digital book on my books, I can handwrite it, I can export it to PDF, and I have that, and I like that. I think that's fun. So that's kind of what I want to go through and show you some of the templates that I've set up, some of the things that I am looking forward to doing, how I take notes during a session with it, because it's really just jotting down sentences every now and again. If I go something detailed, I'll do boxes and lines. How I set up combat on it. Dead simple. I'm running a simple initiative system, so it's really simple to do. Just hit points and off I go. But that's the types of things that I'm doing with it. I think it'd be fun to look at. I don't know if people actually watch it. And probably I'm having a bit of a renaissance with my Cypher review that's up right now, and I'll probably tank it by doing my books. But I do this for me to do things that I think would be helpful for the rest of the hobby, whether they want to watch it or not, because YouTube's not showing it. And so that will be fun for me to do. I also got Shadow West is about halfway read. I said I do have Dark Space there, so going heavy into Shadow Dark. And I do have, oh, here, I'll show you this one. I got, boom, 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 as I hit myself and then chin with it. Superheroes, Outgunned Superheroes, yay! This is cool. Outgunned is such a cool system. You're essentially rolling Yahtzee. And I like the artwork. It's very, the artwork is fun. So that's definitely in my queue. Also, I have Top Secret New World Order also in my queue. I want to do some box set stuff. And Coriolis Flowers for Algereb is over there. And the Coriolis The Great Dark GM screen, which I ordered, which is really, really cool. So a lot of cool things are coming up on the channel. I am looking forward to bringing it all of you. I do have some live streams. I have to remember to go and schedule for the people. I've been a little bit distracted, and I'll get those up very, very soon. And I'll be hopefully doing some actual plays pretty soon as well, because I would love to get a demo of Cypher up on the channel so people can see it in action. So that is what I have going on. And until we see each other again, folks, happy playing, everyone.